Hello, welcome to this week's broadcast of Esports Tower Rumble and Rocket League. We're broadcasting it from the beautiful Boise Esports Arena. It is time. First round of our Upwell semifinals, the Stingrays taking on the Wolves. And as always, I am your host, Colin McJunkin, and joining me to call the action is Colby Alloway. We're getting right into it, just off the bat of it all. And sort of carrying away from next week, we're starting off at the upper semis. We got quite the road ahead of us in terms of the matches we got going on. And between the Wolves and the Mammoths, who's the team you're just going to put a prediction on out there?
Well, I want to say that the Wolves have been highlighting Tony, I believe, with their working on their scoring ability. The coaches have described them as a scoring menace for the team there. And then they also highlighted Mischief, showing a lot of consistency recently as a player that can carry the team. So that's kind of what we're looking for from the Wolves, from at least what we've been told about the coaches. So I think we know a little bit more about them, so I definitely want to say Wolves.
Yeah, it was, historically speaking, too, if we're going off of mascot ways, the Mammoths, I'd say Mammoth would win against the Wolf, but historically speaking as well, the Mammoths.
But a pack of wolves.
A pack of wolves, I guess, maybe. And giving us just a brief, today's competitors: the Wolves, Hammerheads, Mammoths, Stingrays, and Lynx. All teams we have seen here before, and everyone competing to be the winner of this Rumble series that we got. And there's our little bracket that we have going on. Once again, getting the sort of upper semis. The Wolves and the Mammoths going into the Stingrays get a good positioning based off seedings that they had in the practice round, and then also the Hammerhead and Lynx that we will see in this matchup. And as long as the semifinals, I believe as long as the first round of losers, we will see as well in today's broadcast. And just a quick reminder to the viewers, support your team, celebrate their success, and if always, respect the team and everyone else in his chat. Mods will remove you if needed be. Just be a good person, be a kind person. That's really all it's got to be. But the big hope is that these team players can follow, a certain person's keys to the game. In fact, I would call them almost cemented in how to play Rocket League. They are, of course, Doc keys of the game, which are presented by Esports Tower. Score pro advice at esportstower.com. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve your performance under pressure, and you get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. And, of course, in Rocket League is to create mistakes, punish the overcommits, play the walls better, and demo to support. It's you just create the mistakes, honestly. Just demo. Honestly, if you find your ways to the demos and you make one player rage quit off of demoing, you'll probably find yourself and an empty net most of the time, and an empty net more than often leads to scoring the ball, and scoring the ball leads to you winning the game. So isn't that the point of it all? And yeah, that's Doc's keys to the game, brought to us by Esports Tower. Getting right into it once again, the anticipation builds, the Wolves and the Mammoths. In terms of history that I've seen, that I can remember out the top of my head, the Mammoths have been a team that I don't think have made it super far in the Rumble bracket, but I'm sort of looking for this team and the new ones to break through in an interesting way and create a new dynamic and sort of dispel any negative connotations toward them of, these are brand new teams. How are they going to perform? And I'm kind of looking for the Mammoths to be the team that takes it.
So far, in name only, the Mammoths are the only ones that haven't kind of gotten to the upper echelons of the bracket, which is not to say the players haven't touched that, not to say that this new team comp can't do that. It looks like Mischief is going to win the first 50-50, and then immediately after that, Tony is kind of following the ball, going to bounce it off the back wall, and then immediately after that, Tony. Oh, we have two Tonys. We have Tony 1 and Tony 2.
Are they on? They're on the same team. All right, I think I'll call it Tony XD and Tony 2. What it'll be, but a shot that was taken is going to go ahead and miss. Spoiler's going to go ahead and try and take up the sidewall, get disrupted by Tony 2. Tony 2 is going to get a shot. There's Mischief just getting one more touch, sending out to the sidewall here. Nobody quite contesting the ball a little bit. Mischief might get a pass up to the midfield. Does get a pass, but it's over to Spooky. Spooky gets faked out by Tony XD. He's got one touch, but it might be shot by No Smurf, but it's dispelled by Tony.
All right, it looks like Spooky is in possession of the ball, going to try to get it in the net, and they're going to be unable to do so, and it's going to be turned away. Tony going up the side while X-Boiled looking for the 50-50 is just going to end up backing off, giving possession to Tony, and then immediately after that, I'm No Smurf is going to go ahead and snipe that. Spooky's going to bounce it off the back right of the backboard, but be unable to find the goal there, and now at this point, Tony's going to go up in the air, kind of pinch it against the wall a little bit there, and then Tony's going to take possession of the ball, send it over to Smurf. Now it looks like we are over in the orange side of the field. 3 minutes and 44 seconds remaining, both teams 0-0.
Logan's going to get a pinch with the sidewall there. It's going to get no quite value at it, not spoiled. Trying to get a play, so we're playing off the sidewall, doesn't get anything. Tony gets bumped off the ball. Somehow doesn't make a touch of this. This Chief is going to pick it up, get a flick onto the net, and what is a attempted save? Ends up turning into the Wolves, going up 1-0 with 3 minutes and 27 seconds left.
And then, ooh, the 50-50 is just not hardly going to move at all. And then immediately after that, Mischief is going to come in. I'm No Smurf is going to pop it up into the air, bounce it off at the ceiling. Mischief is going to go up the wall to receive that pass there. Spooky's going to pass it over Tony. Mischief's going to send it just straight over Tony. And the next Boiled is just kind of volleying this ball back and forth in the midfield.
Spooky, wow!
Ooh.
Getting the touch of a lifetime off the wheels is going to go to put the Mammoths at a tie scoreline here with about 3 minutes left. The first defenders guessing how that ball made it in the net. Now Spooky with the solo play here, looking to get the flip reset. Does get the underside shot, doesn't get it. Smurf had the shot opportunity, wasn't quite on target yet. Now it's Spoiled's turn. Gets one more off the backboard. The follow-up is not there. Smurf a little bit out of position. Now here's Tony looking for the bump. And Smith Chief's gonna get the shot. Bang!
Immediately after that goal score, we're going to go ahead and go to the next 50-50. It looks like Tony and I'm No, the 50-50 is going to go over onto the blue side of the field. We see X-Boiled waiting for it. And then immediately after that, Mischief is going to come in, kind of bounce the ball back and forth. There is a shot on goal. It's turned away. The first bounces back. The second shot on goal is also going to whiff, just barely go left. Now we see Spooky Yogurt dribbling it on the wall all the way over to midfield just to have it stolen and sent back into the blue.
Oh!
Ooh.
That was a mistouch.
Pass to the enemy team.
Yeah, it was purely just a mistouch by one of the Mammoth defenders. I don't remember exactly who it was, but the Wolves are going to take Wolves with advantage of it. Mischief might get a fourth for the Wolves here, and the Wolves are trying to run away with this game, but there's still only 2 minutes and 21 seconds left. There's still a lot of game to play, and off the kickoff, so dead in the middle, and a double miss by opposing sides.
50-50 is going to fall like right on the sidelines there. We're still trying to get it out of the kind of the midfield here as it goes over into the blue. Mischief is going to kind of see the shot on goal, not be able to find it though as the ball's going to be bumped away. Now we see Tony going up in the air, getting a shot on goal. It's sending it right over to Spooky with the save.
Touchdown, keeping over. Maybe look for the Doomsday Dish or a way to get it there. Didn't quite get it though. Spooky gets a bang over, trying to get over Tony's head. Doesn't quite get it though. Smurf now keeping control in the corner here. Gets one more touch. Leading out the midfield. Spooky elevates. Is going to miss it, but now Tony's going to re-enter with the shot. And Spoiled not able to get the depth there and save the ball. It's going to once again put the Wolves up one more point at a 5-minute scoreline here.
With 1 minute and 36 seconds remaining, the Mammoths have got to come up with a new strategy. We see X-Boiled going up the wall, send it right over to Mischief, who sends it almost gets a big clear, but then that's going to be stopped by blue team there. We see a little bit of aerial dribbling all the way over to Spooky, who's looking for a shot on goal, but Mischief is there to defend.
50 corner of the wall is going to clear out to the midfield. Spoiler had a shot, didn't get anything quite from it. Now Spooky in one more touch off the backboard here. A little bit of an over rotation. Quite able to get it. Spoiler getting one more touch over. Tony to elevate, and bang! He's going to get the double touch, and the Wolves are just running away with it with 1 minute and 1 second left.
As we go to the next 50-50, it looks like the Mammoths are going to barely win the 50-50, and then Tony's going to take it over into the blue, the back left-hand corner of the field there a little bit. We see Spooky just kind of waiting to pop that ball up in the air, and then No Smurf just kind of comes and sends it back down to Spooky, who's going to do a little bit of sidewall dribbling, but the ball is just barely going to get disrupted, touched away from them, and now Tony is in possession of the ball, looking to set up Mischief for a goal, but instead that touch is going to be disrupted. Back to Tony once again.
Awkward touch off the corner wall there. Spoiler's going to be able to take possession here, looking for a dribble. Doesn't quite get anything out of it here. Might be looking for a second touch by Spooky. Is going to rotate out. He's going to get an easy clear off that. Now Smurf is demoed in the open net. Might be a possibility, and it is. As Mischief's just going to get a block the lifetime right between the corner and the goalkeeper and go up 7-1 and still manage to win the kickoff.
Looks like Tony currently in possession of the ball. Spooky Yogurt's going to try to get the defensive, but is actually not going to need to as things go over into the left-hand corner and then just pop away from all available cars. And it looks like Smurf is going to be the first one to track it down with Tony on the other side of that. Smurf pulling off some nice dribbling there, but the ball is going to be pinched and kind of sent off the ground. That is first round going over to the blue, or to the orange, excuse me.
To the Wolves. And you know, Colby, you can see how far going at it alone, you can only get so far. Ultimately, if you want to increase your chance of success, you have to level up your teaming skills. And we just saw that in the last play. Well, really kind of a solo play. You can see how far they've come since the last time they were in the Rumble. Esports Tire really takes the time to celebrate teams and create well-matched teams with well-matched teammates. I'd like to do a shout-out to Coach Jake. And if those watching haven't checked out Esports Tire Club, you should. It's the fast track to rank up. So far, the Wolves pretty outperformed the Mammoths. Pretty harshly, honestly, going to 7-1 scoreline here, and that puts the Mammoths at a match point. So they need to find a way. They need to find a way to stay in the game and keep it going. And it kind of just looked like there was just missed touches. Really was what it came down to. Just a couple touches that went bad, went not in their favor, and I think that's ultimately what the game comes down to. And I think if the Mammoths just recollect themselves, it's game one, it's whatever. We can just toss it aside. We don't really need to remember that game and just go forward. You're not out if you lose it, but you definitely don't want to be put lower bracket finals or lower bracket right off your first match.
We've had teams go all the way up and win the grand finals through the bracket reset, so so it's definitely not the end of the world for either team if they lose here. The Mammoths, I want to say, they need to play the speed game, I think is what the Mammoths are lacking a little bit. I think their members were not able to make as fast as rotations as the Wolves were able to make, and so they were kind of caught off guard, just adding to the discussion in addition to the missed touches.
Yeah, I think first game jitters, whatever it may be, but hopefully we end up seeing the Mammoths outperform the Wolves this time, keep it a close game, or the Wolves just going to conquer it all and take it to win game 2 and move on to face the Lynx in I believe, upper semifinals.
All right, so it looks like the 50-50 is just Mischief's going to run away with it into the back corner. We see Spoiled just running quickly back into net to get somebody over there. They're going to touch the ball, kind of disorient Mischief a little bit, force them to have to kind of circle around. It looks like Tony and Mischief are all chasing the ball as it goes over into the orange. Mischief going to bounce it off the wall, bounce it over to Spooky, who's going to kind of volley it back to Tony. This ball is kind of playing volleyball right now if the midline is the net.
Quite keeping any level of possession here so far. Maybe definitely score a goal. If you don't, with what a 50 and a pinch sort of the combo play, Mischief might have a second touch here, looking for it. Tony's going to go and take over, and Mischief elevates, gets it over Smurf. Now it's off to Yogi here, who's got to make a touch. Does get one off the corner wall here, still could be dangerous. Mischief with the one more touch off the backboard. It's going to be cleared by Spoiled, however, though. Smurf's going to be looking for something, breaks and gives Tony the time they need to get a touch. A pinch off the sidewall is going to get second Tony a chance to score it and put the Wolves up 1-0.
I want to say Tony is my dad for real, for real. I think they've scored more, so it almost feels like they're Tony 1 and then Tony is just Tony. That looks like kind of as we have Tony just taking the ball over into the midfield. We see actually just there's no contest going to get that goal, putting the Wolves up to 3 minutes and 52 seconds remaining.
Safety net that you definitely want to keep going, but you want to increase that lead ever more. Here's Spoiled going to be looking for a touch. Doesn't quite get out. Spooky is just a bit too slow, and Mischief a bit too fast. It's going to put the Wolves up 3-0 here with not that much time elapsing. Still sitting at this 3-minute 40-second mark here. The kickoff does go in their favor, and Spooky was looking for a second touch that could be shot on goal, but it was a missed opportunity. Now Tony looking to elevate, doesn't quite get anything. Spoiled to bang it up. Spooky one more touch. Does get it. Is it awkward enough? It is not. It's going to be saved and pushed over the corner for the Wolves. But Smurf is still keeping this ball on the orange side.
And it looks like Spooky Yogurt's going to kind of pinch it off the wall and send it in an unexpected direction, straight back to midfield, and then immediately after that to the ceiling. Tony currently in possession of the ball, going to dribble up that sidewall, playing side control right now. It looks like Spooky and Spoiled are laying weight in net. Spoiled's going to go ahead and get the touch to disrupt and send us all the way back over into the orange.
get pinched on the sidewall here. Still looks possession. Was able to open a shot. Mischief was in the right spot. Block that ball out. Spoil it, elevate. Looking to get a touch. Didn't quite do anything. Now Mischief looks for the pass. Does get it. And there's Tony putting it up bottom right bins. The Wolves are going up 4-0 with just under 3 minutes left in this game. There's still a lot for the Mammoths to recover, but they've got to put this plan they have in action, or it could be the end of it all. And Smurf.
Goal off of the 50-50. 50-50 went kind of in an unexpected direction, and then it was the Wolves that recovered first, and they were able to put us up 5-0. 2 minutes and 46 seconds remaining, and X-Boiled almost makes the goal off the bat, but then immediately after that, the ball kind of gets pinched to the ground and goes up to the ceiling, where it still remains. We're playing volleyball right now with how high this ball is in the air, and it finally touches the ground. We're back in Rocket League.
Might be looking for a shot. Makes out a little bit here. It does put one off the side of the net. It's a little bit too far, though. Then be clear easy. Now Spooky. Looking for the 50. Doesn't get it, but Tony elevates to get a beat. And a demo that falls as well. Sport getting one more touch. Tony to slow it down. Now Mischief to take over. Look for a pass. Nobody quite in the middle to receive it, though. We give right over.
And it looks like Tony's just going to go ahead and disrupt that dribble attempt, send it up into the sky. Is there anybody that's able to touch? It looks like X-Boiled is going to send things over into the orange and send Tony chasing after the ball, as Mischief is going to get a massive clear all the way over into the blue. It looks like Tony's going to try to set up for maybe their similarly named team member to get a goal, and unfortunately that doesn't happen, as Spooky Yogurt's going to get a little bit of a clear, get it immediately out of the net. And then we see Tony get the next touch. Spooky Yogurt's going to send things over. The Wolves are just kind of relentlessly attacking this goal with 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining.
Touchdown by Smurf. He's going to catch it again. Doesn't quite get it. Floyd's going to be able to get the 50 and send over the other corner, but Mischief is waiting for it. Gets one, looking for a small touch off the sidewall there. He's going to be able to get it. Now Tony looking to control it. Gets a bad bounce. Leaving the middle. Could be shot on net. It was taken, but it's not quite there. Is the in and out save. There was not the ability to get there in time. The Mammoths are going to get their first goal in game 2 of the series, but they have 1 minute and 10 left. Is that enough for them to tie it up?
Tony's going to go up the sidewall, and X-Boiled's immediately going to take it onto the ceiling and then drop down from above. It looks like Tony's going to take it all the way back up, trying to find the goal, but Spooky Yogurt's going to go ahead and get the touch all the way back to Mischief. The Wolves with repeated shots on goal right now, just leaving the Mammoths on defense.
And another open net for the Wolves right now. A beautiful demo on Smurf. Left the net wide open with nobody contesting the ball rolling up the sidewall. And the Wolves, with what feels like I should be hopeful, but to make 5 goals in 40 seconds, that has to happen now. The block is sent over to the corner piece. This looks like it might be game. The Wolves will be advancing. Might be a little presumptuous. And a bang. It's going to get over the heads and cleared out by Slow. Wow.
And then with that, we see everybody just waiting to touch this ball, the 50-50. The ball's going to just mule off in a random direction. And then with that demo onto Tony, the Mammoths' opportunity to try to score is now. But with that big clear, they just don't have the space to get a shot on goal. We see Mischief bounce it off the back wall. No touch is forthcoming. And then immediately after that, Tony is going to get their own shot on goal. X-Boiled, major savior for the Mammoths here. And then it looks like Tony's going to bounce it up, try to get this, bounce it off the back wall. There, the second touch just barely goes a little bit too high. The ball touches the ground. The Wolves not hurting for points.
No, definitely not hurting for points. They were super comfortable in that game. And it's sort of what we talked about a little bit in the post-first game, what was, the Wolves sort of playing a little faster. It definitely felt like that a little more. It definitely felt their tempo. They were sort of out-tempoing the Mammoths at that current time. It sort of felt like that watching that game, and it sort of was apparent that their demoing was there. There were a lot of more open nets they found, and their shot qualities were there as well. They were able to thread the needle with a lot of the shots and find their ability to create these opportunities to score, and that's really big for players to understand of what's best made for an opportunity for me to score. What opportunities and what do I need to set up? And they pass it to each other and teammates off the corner wall, etc. I think defensively, if the Mammoths square up, they can end up being that team that makes it to the lower finals for us.
Yeah, and then remind me of next matchup on the bracket.
It's the Stingrays and the Wolves.
And the Stingrays are coming at us just because of their seeding in the practice round. They ended up just having the opportunity to kind of so we're expecting some big things for them, particularly in the realm of mechanical skill.
Yeah, just purely based off of the fact that they got seeded higher, we can assume that that we're expecting a lot more from them. But we won't find out until we get to that matchup. And here on the desk, we're gonna take a little bit of break, get some water. We'll see you after these messages.
Growing up in Riggins, we have certain rules we live by. Look both ways before crossing the street. Fishing stories get better the more you tell them. Small town life makes your life anything but small. Never work alone when you go hunting. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Idaho Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance. Home is where you hang your hat, snuggle up, hide out. Home is when you're with the ones you love. It isn't just a place, it's a state of mind. At Idaho Central Credit Union, our home is Idaho. We grew up here, and we're proud to help more Idahoans with their home loan than any other financial institution. Idaho Central Credit Union. We believe home is where you make it.
Hello, welcome back to this week's broadcast. We're Tower Rumble and Rock League. We're broadcasting here from the beautiful Boise State Esports Arena. It's time for the first round of our upper semifinals. The Stingrays taking on the Wolves. As always, you heard it once before. I am your host, Carl McJunkin, and joining me to call to action is Colby Alloway. And getting right into it, we saw the Wolves beat the Mammoths. And the way that brackets go, they have this weird, funny little quirky thing where you win one game and you go for it and you play another team. And that team for the Wolves happened to be the Stingrays, who, based off of practice rounds, were seeded higher. And we sort of briefly talked about it before we went into the broadcast of because the Stingrays were by default bracketed higher than most teams, than the Lynx and the Barracudas, that we're expecting, we have a little higher expectations in terms of their quality of gameplay is the word that I'll target there. And, what are you expecting? Because from what we've seen from the Wolves, we saw how they played and we saw how they played the Mammoths. What are you expecting from the Stingrays in order to, what could be a weakness that they need to find in the Wolves' armor to maybe get an advantage over the Stingrays or over the Wolves?
So I think that this is the challenge that the Wolves have kind of been waiting for after that fantastic showing in last map. The Wolves just scoring, almost getting to double digits a little bit there. So they're definitely looking to kind of upset the Stingrays. I think the main thing that the Stingrays are going to need to focus on is the Wolves quite often will triple commit, and the Stingrays just need to kind of have an eye out for that, waiting for all three members to be past that line, and then now's your time to go in.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and I think there's definitely a lot more openings. That the thing that I did see from the Wolves was they demoed. it was like once or twice, but they demoed smartly to create openings. So I think if I see that a lot more from them, they could see a lot of success going against the Stingrays. But like as always, the Stingrays is sort of an unknown for us. These are completely brand new teams that we have not seen a combination of yet. So we don't know if the Stingrays are going to be cracked out of their minds or if it's going to be an even match for the Wolves. We won't know until we get there. Anticipating the matchup to get into it. Yeah, it's just, I honestly, I don't know. It's a little bit too unknowns for me to make, too many unknowns, too many variables for me to make an educated guess is what I'd say on a team that I could see winning this matchup. But this isn't the end for any one team. Like even if either team loses here, they don't go down or they're not out of it forever. They just simply move down and get to try again. We do want to take a moment to congratulate all the Esports Tower Club members who have graduated from the clubs and have been offered scholarships across the country. Over the last 3 months, Esports Tower Club members have received over $4.5 million in scholarship awards. These students have not only worked hard on their in-game play, but have worked hard academically, have earned these scholarship opportunities. The players have received these scholarships are talented, hardworking, and driven, and we could not be more excited and proud and waiting to see all the opportunities these players have for them waiting. 4.5 million. God, that's such a number, honestly. Like you don't think about it. You don't
That's such
really,
a number, math. Oh my God.
It's a rather large number. It's so nice of them to not put the zeros in there. It makes the text a little more readable.
Could you read if they put the numbers in there?
Yeah,
I think you were struggling with the 4.5.
Yeah, it was. This isn't about me. This is about the players getting 4.5 million scholarships in dollars accumulated over all of them. So. You've rattled me now. You've rattled me. I can't recover. I simply can't recover. But hopefully, one of these teams will be able to cover and follow Doxy's the game, which in Rocket League are to create mistakes, punish whoever commits, play the walls better, and demo to disrupt. And Doxy's the game are presented today by Esports Tower. Score pro advice, esportstower.com. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve your performance under pressure, and you'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. We're going to get right into this matchup of the Wolves versus the Stingrays. Do you got any thoughts before we head into it?
So I give the Stingrays a little bit of a hint for the Wolves, but Stingrays a hint against the Wolves. Excuse me. But I want to say, even though we haven't seen anything out of the Stingrays, I would say the opposite. So my advice to the Wolves would be the opposite of my advice to the Stingrays, right? Which would be to not triple commit unless you absolutely have to. There are a couple of instances when you're like down 2 and there's 30 seconds remaining and you're like, well, it can't get any worse than this. So you can go ahead and put everybody on offense. I mean, it's a strategy from hockey adapted to Rocket League that I think can work in a lot of different situations. But in general, I would make sure that there's someone always ready to rotate to the backfield. Yeah,
I think it's a general consensus. Wow, English is difficult for the both of us, but I feel like that's a desperation strategy that I'm hoping neither of these teams get to the point where it's such a like we're down by, if you're down by 5, there's no point to it, but it is a valid strategy for like if you just need 2 goals, you're down 25 seconds, and you're just like we need the goal because we need the opportunity. It's 100% a valid strategy, and we're gonna wait to see if either team has to perform that strategy. Getting right into
50-50, just gonna launch off into the skybox here. It's Sketch that first recovers. Is gonna be able to get. Oh, Tony just gets a shot on goal right between essentially Boss and Sketch, and that puts the Wolves up 4 minutes and 53 seconds remaining.
Off the bat, missing no time but 7 seconds. Are going to be able to put some points on the board with Sketch looking to answer. Puts one on net. It's going to get it over 3 orange defenders and tie this game up with only 12 seconds elapsed so far.
50-50 is going to send the ball way off into no man's land. Mischief is going to be the first one in possession, still maintaining possession, but it looks like Sketch is just hot on their heels, going to go ahead and take it away a little bit. Tony looking for that shot on goal. Y is going to be able to stop that from going in there. Tony's going to get another shot, but Y's just going to get the second save and get a pretty big clear all the way into the orange. Man, those music notes are distracting.
Another distracting car for us to talk about again. Essentially looking for an interesting touch off the back boy there. Looking to get a pass down to a teammate. Y is going to get one touch off the corner. Not going to get value out of it. Not essentially Boss has to play a little bit shadow with the ball. Get one soft touch. Try and continue with it. Tony's going to get the demo and the disrupt. but Mischief is going to get one more to stop whatever play was going to happen there. But he gets 50'd out by essentially Boss.
And it looks like Tony's just going to kind of rotate around the ball after chasing it. Looks like YY's just barely going to go between Tony and the ball. And then now Tony's just looking to get it past Sketch. Will be unable to thus far. Is going to have to pass down Mayfield. YY's got to hit that reverse button, kind of get over there. And it looks like essentially Bossy and Mischief are going to go up the walls to send the ball back down. And Sketch is currently in possession. Essentially Boss gets the second touch. And then it looks like Tony's going to have to play a little bit of defense.
Essentially trying to put a shot on net. He's going to find it. Tony in awkward position, not able to turn the car fast enough. Going to want to hold down that RB button a little harder. He's going to put the Stingrays up 2-1 with a minute left as Tony.
The juke and then Y getting the save. Man, I've been debated, and it looks like we're going to get a clear straight to midfield. Y's going to send it up into the air, over into the essentially Bossy into the corner, who gets the second touch. Sketch looking for the follow-up, but unable to find it as all three members of the Wolves are playing defense.
Catch the ball, looking to get something around it, gets the second, gets a little bit of air dribble, gets the flick off of it, keep the ball elevated, gives Sunshine Boss the easiest goal of their time. An early fast-scoring game is turning into the Stingrays taking a comfortable 2-goal lead here with about 3 minutes remaining, and the 50 is going to leave the ball out the middle here, Sketch to catch it, getting one soft touch, they're going to get over one, just get over a second. Wolves defender. Stingrays going to go up 4-1, 2 minutes and 53 seconds left.
And as we go over to the next 50-50, the Stingrays are currently in the lead. As you just said, Y is going to send it over into the corner. Tony's immediately going to go up to challenge them on that. Tony and Y kind of vying for this ball. Ball's going to bounce up, essentially. Bossy's going to get the touch. Oh, hand it over to Mischief, actually, but Sketch is waiting in net to get that touch and kind of disrupt it, put it a little bit over to the left with a big clear.
Ooh, this touch could leave this ball back in the net. It is picked up by Y. Going to be able to get the sidewall here, get a good clear. Still keeping possession of the ball, looking to get around Sketch. Sketch is going to get one touch. Use the position out for Tony, essentially not controlling the ball. Sketch looking for the demo. Won't be needed as essentially Boss going to hit the flick of the last defender and put this game in a very comfortable lead for the Stingrays of 4 goals with still 2 minutes and 18 seconds left to play. And off the kickoff, Tony might be looking for a second touch. Isn't going to be able to get it with no boost. I think it's just going to clear over the sidewall.
It looks like the Wolves are kind of trying to mount an offensive here where we're on the blue side of the field at least. The Stingrays are going to get a massive clear. Tony's going to be able to stop it a little bit, kind of staunch the bleeding before it gets all the way into net. And then YY currently going to take possession of the ball and a shot straight behind Tony.
Finding the opening. Still being so deadly here. The Stingrays going up one more. The Wolves are sort of having the turntables turn on them. What was a massive lead for them with facing off the Mammoths. They find themselves in a similar position as Sensi Boss looking for the double. Isn't going to be able to get it as they're quite literally physically put off the ball.
Looks like essentially Bossy's going to rotate back into net. Tony's going to get a massive clear all the way over into the orange. Now the Stingrays are chasing this ball down. Now's the time where they want to try to be aggressive. Sketch going to get the first touch on the ball, get the second touch, a little bit of a flip reset there, and then immediately Tony sends things back. But essentially Bossy says, you're not getting past me, we're staying in the orange.
Good pass by Sensi there. It's picked up by Y. Y getting one more touch, leaving a
Can
net
Sketch get
open.
the follow-up? Ooh, almost gets the goal, but there will be a demo that comes out, and it looks like YY currently in possession of the ball. Mischief is going to send things over. It looks like essentially Bossy is looking to just send that straight into the goal with the Wolves too far back to stop it.
Looking for the fake, so he's definitely able to fake 2 defenders that were in the orange net. With still a minute and left here. Currently sitting out of Brazil. Sketch letting Y take the touch. Y getting one more, getting a bit of an air dribble here. Looking for the second. Is going to be able to get it in the 50. The ball's going to bounce just right before the net. It's going to hit the crossbar there. Still on this orange side of the field. Here's Sketch. Going to get one touch over the sidewall. Corner. 50 does leave on the midfield here. Y looking to get one more. He's 50'd out. Sketch going to have to make a defensive play. Set over to the corner. Now Tony getting one touch leaving on the corner.
And it looks like the Stingrays are trying to mount an offensive here, but unfortunately the Wolves are going to clear all the way over into the blue on midfield. Sketch just gets the ball taken from them, just kind of bumped to disrupt, and then immediately after that gets the save, but Tony's trying to set up for another one. Unfortunately, it's going to go way too far to the right in that corner, and then after that, a 50-50 sends the ball right straight up into the air, just kind of bouncing back and forth between these corners. Sketch has saved the ball again. YY's looking to run away with it, going to grab that boost in the corner, and essentially Bossy is keeping right up with them. is going to unfortunately touch the ground before the Stingrays can get that final kind of cinching goal.
Unfortunately, it wouldn't have helped them too much or too far, but want to be seen by expert college recruiters, talk directly to esports industry insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, and game producers. Then join the club. Esports Tower players get insider access to the industry insights with our featured rumbles. Recruiters are taking notice, too. It's a great way to score exposure if you're looking to start your path to pro or land a collegiate scholarship. And the Stingrays have been performing at a high level in practice, which is why they got the top seed. But mainly the coaches want to see how they play in this rumble, which honestly, looking at that game, it's exceedingly noticeable what the Stingrays are. So far, out of the 3 teams that we've seen, they are the higher caliber right now. I mean, they just 7-1.
They deserved there.
Yeah, they 7-1 the team that also 7-0 the team that they played as well. So it's sort of just purely based off of that sort of standard and the precedence that's been set so far by watching these games. The Stingrays and the coaches are sort of right here. They got placed higher because the way they performed in practice seems to be duly noted.
And the Stingrays also have demonstrated exactly what coaches are looking for, which is scoring early goals. That first goal was on there within the first 6 seconds, so the Stingrays have definitely been working hard to come out the gate early and then just snowball the rest. And then we're going to flip to the Wolves a little bit. The Wolves, their big thing that they need to work on is kind of confidence and taking risks, knowing when to go in, when to back out, when you can afford the risk, and when you really just need to play defensively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's sort of, there was, I think we did see that sort of in the game of a little bit more double commits in the rotation that were there. The Stingrays found a little more creative goals and a little bit more better ways to score it over the Wolves' heads. But yeah, I definitely think gaining some of the confidence back is easily a way to counter the Stingrays.
It looks like 50-50 is going to go on the blue side. The Wolves kind of have mounted an offensive here. It looks like essentially Bossy's going to 50-50, and the ball just goes way off to the side, and it looks like Y is the first one that's able to kind of get the ball, but immediately after that, Tony's going to get a shot on goal. Essentially, Bossy's trying to bounce it off the backboard and accidentally sets Tony up for the perfect goal.
An awkward touch, definitely not the way you want to clear it. I see the vision, I see the attempt to clear off the backboard, get the ball to bounce far enough out for the shots that will be taken. Nevertheless, essentially Bossy looking for a free shot, is able to
Demo leaves the net open.
The demo leaves the net open.
Stingrays tying it up, 4 minutes and 34 seconds remaining. This is exactly what the Stingrays and the Wolves are both looking for. Tony currently getting a massive clear, gets that second touch on the ball, and then Y is just barely going to miss their own touch. So we're over into the orange. Tony's going to send things directly over the Stingrays and up into the air, kind of bouncing it between themselves and the sidewall. And it looks like Y is going to immediately take that ball away and kind of stop the Wolves' offensive. Now it's the Stingrays heading over into the orange, looking for a goal.
Clear the ball. Does get a good catch off the bounce of the sidewall there. It's going to be disrupted by Sketch. Trying to leave the ball in the corner here. Punch up by the other company essentially for a shot. Maybe off the backboard, wasn't able to get anything anyway though. Sketch looking for one more. Does get it. Essentially Boss rotates out and easy clear by Tony. Is there a follow-up or essentially Boss is going to have a free touch? Does not have a free touch. That's disrupted. But it's going to be easily picked up by the Stingrays defenders. As Wise elevates to get one more touch. He's the ball in a safe position in the corner here. Now essentially Bossy trying to get it past one. Does get it past one more defender. They got a beat here. Does get a 50. And one more touch disrupts Y a little bit. Clear about the Wolves.
The Stingrays are moving like a pack right now, kind of looking for this goal onto the Wolves right now to break the tie. 3 minutes and 17 seconds remaining. It looks like Tony's going to get a clear over to mid, but Sketch is immediately going to send it back to the goal, bounce it off the back wall. Y gets a shot, Sketch gets the second touch, and then Tony's going to clear it main all the way over into the blue, and then Tony part 2 is going to stop Y from touching the ball. It looks like this just mosh pit in the corner, and the ball is going to be sent mercifully away from the entirety of the mosh pit. And it looks like 2 minutes and 53 seconds, and this game's still tied.
Sketch going to get over one Tony, but he's not going to be able to get it over the nether. Y getting a good 50, and Tony getting one more demo. Essentially taking a shot on net. It hits the sidebar. Sketch taking one more and bar down to the shot. Is going to be able to secure the lead for the Stingrays with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left here.
So this 50-50 is important, breaking the tie, and immediately, oh my gosh, that 50-50. The touch first kept it on the midline, and then immediately after that, essentially Bossy's going to send it up into the air, and Tony joins as well. Ooh, Sketch just barely going to save that right on the line. And then the balls just bounce back and forth in this little mosh pit, not gaining a ton of height right now as Sketch is going to take it, bounce it off the wall, send it over to Y, and it looks like bounce it off the crossbar, looking for essentially Bossy to make the shot, but instead it's Tony that's going to steal and make a counter shot of their own, tying this game up 2-2, 2 minutes and 11 seconds remaining.
Getting the beat on the orange defender there, or a blue defender more like it, gives the Wolves the tie game here. One more point could give any team the lead. Off the 50 here, essentially looking for one more beat, does get it. Mischief is back far enough, doesn't quite get the touch they're looking for. Gonna go ahead and leave it wide, taking a shot, blocked out by Mischief. Sketch has one, getting over one Tony and pinching with the sidewall.
Everyone's in the net.
I don't even know exactly what happened there, but it got almost like it got pinched out by Y and Sketch.
Sketch, the defender, going to get a massive clear all the way over to midfield. Essentially, Bossy gets the second touch, sending us all the way into the orange net. Essentially, Bossy is looking for someone to set up so they can follow up with the goal. But now Tony's going to get a massive clear for the Wolves and send things over into blue territory. Sketch still in the net. Y currently in possession of the ball, but Tony's fighting them for it every step of the way. Even as they get a massive clear, but Tony Part 2 is going to roll in and save that goal.
Bossy trying to make a pinch here. Sketch also going to get a pinch. Slow the ball down far enough for Y to get the pickup here. Now essentially getting one more touch. Gets the reset off the side wire. Looks for one more. Doesn't quite have the boost to do it. Just barely off the outside of the goal here.
It's off the back wall. Ooh, second touch just sent it straight down, and then no goal is to be had, but the Wolves' offensive isn't done yet, especially as essentially Bossy's demo now might be their chance. Sketch is going to have to go up in the ball and get a clear all the way to midfield, gives the Stingrays a little bit of breathing room. This game is still tied. 43 seconds and dwindling.
Down, if you throw the ball, gives up the possession a little bit. Sketch is going to go ahead and pick it up. Now Tony out the back, but it's going to be a bad setup for them. Y take a shot, stay there in time. It is not. Essentially, Bossy's in the right position. He's going to put the Stingrays in the lead here with 31 seconds left, and right off the kickoff, this could determine. Oh, bad 50. Oh, but Mischief gets bumped off, not allowed any room to try and get that. That could have been the saving grace for the Wolves. Essentially, Bossy gets bumped, leaving Tony out in the open. He's going to have to get some solo plays here. Doesn't quite get it. Not enough boost to follow, and just bumped off the ball.
We do see essentially Bossy kind of getting a little bit of a 50, sending it up into the air. Mischief is just going to miss that touch, and then it looks like Tony's also going to miss the touch, and then immediately after that, get the touch, kind of try to set up Tony again for the shot, and instead, essentially, Bossy's going to run up to the side, and the Stingrays are going to take round 2, but honestly, much closer.
Way much closer. And I think there is a distinct difference in the way that the Wolves played against the Stingrays. In match 1, it felt a little off pace. It felt a little awkward, like they weren't fully there. But this time, they flip switch. They were playing faster. They were playing off of their second touches. They got the first. They committed the second touch. A lot of the times, I would see Tony or essentially Bossy get a touch and then fall up off the sidewall, positioning the car right to get the reset with their wheels and to kind of get the follow-up how you're supposed to play it all. And they just seem to be playing off of each other a lot better and a lot more quality shots from the Wolves as well, I will say. They felt way more into it and giving the Stingrays a little bit harder of a time than what it was first game. But nevertheless, the Stingrays are going to go up 2-0 in a best-of-5, which puts the Wolves at a match point here, so it can't be close anymore. They can't keep the game close anymore. They've got to find a way to win this next game out, or they go down the lower brackets. Isn't the worst thing. We've talked about it before, but I think if you had the preference, you would want to advance to the upper finals instead of go down to the lower semis. That's just me, though. Starting off, getting right into the game. Will the Wolves fall down to the lower finals, or will the Stingrays be able to advance? It's about the Wolves' fight for survival here. You never want to back a Wolf in a corner. Could be dangerous for you, but off the kickoff, it's sent over to Tony, who's swaying on the side. We'll look for a double. It's going to be quite get it. The shot is off as well.
It looks like Sketch is going to kind of vie with Mischief for the ball a little bit there. Mischief is going to get demoed for their efforts, run over by Y. Essentially, Bossy gets the first touch, going to shoot just a little bit shy of the goal, and then immediately after that, Y is going to take it. Ooh. I didn't know if Tony was going to be able to get it out in time, but it looks like that's the Stingrays scoring the first early goal.
20 seconds here, probably the slowest you've seen a first goal scored from either side. Y is going to be good clear here. Should be a follow-up. He's 50'd out by Essentially putting him to the orange corner here. Essentially going to get a quick turn on it, get one more touch, get a third touch, team on the midfield. Sketch to get one more. Why might be in a good position, attempts to commit to the ball, gets beat out. Now Tony's trying to slow it down a little bit. Isn't going to get the quality touch, but has one more, gets 50'd out, sends it over to the orange corner here. It's just going to control it, get demoed by Essentially. Essentially gets looking for the second, doesn't get it, but now Tony has control. Sketch get one more. Just going to have to rotate out, but it's going back for seconds, and they aren't going to find any fruit to their labor. Now Essentially getting 50'd out by Mischief.
And it looks like the ball's going to kind of get off of the wall. Y's going to get a save and then get demoed and ran over for their efforts by Tony. And it looks like immediately after that, Tony, part one, is going to go ahead and try to score, but Y respawns just in time to get that save. Mischief currently in possession of the ball, bouncing it between themselves and the wall, trying to get it on top of the hood of their car. Shoots a little bit to the left of goal, leaving it in the hands of Y and Sketch, who's going to get demoed.
Foul ball by Tony, a shot taken by Essentially Boss. Not the best of touches to boom it off the sidewall there. Leaves an attack with sort of an opening on your net. And that's exactly what the Stingrays are going to do, take advantage and create mistakes from the Wolves here. Essentially Boss not going to be able to quite get the touch. Now Y looking for the touches off the wheel. Doesn't quite get the inline one they're looking for. Now Essentially is going to have to do something. Pick it over Sketch. Oh! Essentially, what is happening? That's the second own goal you put on your net. And that's the Wolves, by saving grace, put back into this game.
3 minutes and 16 seconds remaining. Definitely the Wolves can tie it up here. We see Y chasing after the ball after the 50-50. Not going to get the first touch. It's Mischief. And then after that, Y is going to kind of pinch the ball between themselves and another car and send it flying off. And then in the corner, we see Essentially and Mischief just kind of vying for the ball here. Mischief driving upside down. New meta is Essentially Bossy's going to take it all the way over to the orange goal and get turned away at the very last second.
Y trying to put a shot on that. Right off. Tony elevates off the side where controlling the boost just a little bit. Only gets good for one touch here. Is there a follow-up? The Stingrays kind of double commit, but don't get a touch at all. But luckily, there's a bang. Now Essentially Boss looking for the pass. He's get a 50. And Y's not going to be able to do too much with this. The demo might give the Stingrays the opening they want.
Looks like Sketch is going to be the one to, ooh, nobody's able to save that ball. That was just all the members of the Stingrays caught off guard. Wolves tying it up, 2 minutes and 25 seconds remaining. This next 50-50 is going to be very telling, and it looks like Tony's just going to yoink it right out from under Y.
Ooh, Sketch getting a really good beat and a shot, and that is beautifully saved by Tony. Essentially going to get one more 50 off the second Tony as well. Y look to reposition the ball. A shot by Essentially Boss is just a bit too far into the left side of the net. It's going to hit the sidewall here. Now Sketch keeping control of the ball. Is going to get 50 out or beat by Tony. Now Essentially Boss has to get one more beat. Does get it out, bumped off the ball. Mischief's going to miss the touch as well. But the shot by Tony is saved out by Sketch. Still looking for more. Essentially Boss getting a pinch. Looking to get another 50. Does get it. Now leaving it to Y. Y with one more beat. Essentially now Tony to recenter. And Y getting the recenter again. Back and forth. The Stingrays not able to find the shots, but beautiful passes back and forth to each other.
And it looks like right out in front of the goal, it looks like Tony's going to kind of send it over into the corner. Essentially Bossy currently in possession, going to get the touch, send it over to Y, who's going to send it onto the ground, who sends it back to Tony, who just volleys it right over Y, currently in possession. Essentially Bossy's going to get the next touch, gets the second, gets the third. Amazing ball control there, just have to take a second. Tony currently in possession of the ball. Sketch is going to bounce it right back to Tony part two, who takes it up into the air. And Sketch once again gets the touch, sending away from both members of the Wolves. And now it's YY's turn to maybe take a shot on goal if they have it.
60 seconds left on the clock.
Just under the 60-minute mark here. Tony's going to get one soft touchdown, looking for the follow-up here. He's going to be able to get the second, get the flick over Y. Or actually a Sketch. A Sketch rotates back, has the 100 here. He's going to elevate, try to get the clear. Does indeed get it, but Mischief has a touch. It's 50'd out by Sketch, though. Sketch with 7 boots going to have to rotate back here. Y's going to get one beat, looking for the double. Doesn't quite get it out. Mischief's turn, looking for the double touch. It could be dangerous, not a best of clear from Essentially, but by the grace of it, they are saved. And they're out of danger since Boston's able to clear the ball.
It looks like Tony's going to get a little boost in that corner there, and then immediately the 50-50 sends it all the way over to Sketch in the corner, who bounces it off of the back wall, and then essentially Bossy comes in to try to get the second touch, but it's going to be turned away, and now it's just up in the air, still in front of the orange goal. It looks like YY is currently rotating back, trying to get a little bit more boost there, as essentially Bossy's going to just barely miss the touch, and we get a big clear all the way over into the blue, and the Stingrays are on defense.
Oh! What probably is going to be a goal by Mischief touches the ground just too early, and it's going to send into overtime here. And it's 2-2. You all know the rules of the overtime here. The first one to score is going to take the series, or not take the series, but the Stingrays take the goal. They take the series and they move on, where the Wolves are looking to survive one more game here. In the hands, as it's going to be a big bang here. Essentially, Boss is going to be able to get a touch, be out the attacker, get one more Mischief shot, and that is Mischief, who's not able to make up for it in regulation, is going to be able to do it in overtime and keep the Wolves alive for another game here.
The Wolves have adapted from the Mammoths to the Stingrays. They've completely changed their play style. What I'm noticing with both of these teams is they move in packs, right? Mm-hmm. It's always three people chasing after the ball, teams moving as a unit. There's not a whole lot of, okay, I'll stay back, well, you go forward, and then when you need boost, you come back, and I'll go forward. There's not a lot of that kind of rotation. There's a lot of everybody's mosh pitting after the ball around the pitch from both of these teams.
Yeah, and it can be sort of a sign of a little bit of panic as well, more or less, especially when it's high stakes like that. Mm-hmm. I think the only thing that if there was to be a piece of advice given to the Stingrays is to settle down. You have the advantage, right? You just need one more game, and a lot of teams, I think, get really antsy because they just want to finish out the series. They just want to move on. They don't want any more games. They don't want to risk being reverse swept. But that's not something you can really avoid. You just need to play your game, play it slow, go back to the roots and the demos that you're finding in the first game, and you might find yourself having a little bit more success than what you think. And yeah, but I definitely do agree with you with the rotational part of it. Is you need to be fluid. You need to have the third man that's rotating back and forth to your second and first, more or less your first. When your first makes the commit, rotates out, you need to have that fluid motion. It's vital to the game of Rocket League. But getting right into it, once again, back to the same scenario. Will the Wolves be able to survive one more game and take it to game number 5, or will they lose out here in game number 4 as the Stingrays will advance on?
That little 50-50 is just going to send the ball all the way over in the air, and then Sketch is going to get a massive clear all the way over into the orange. Tony is Hope going up the wall for possession, but instead it's going to be yoinked by Mischief, who gets the next touch, passing it over to Y, who passes it back to essentially Bossy. The Stingrays are 3-man. They really want this goal right now as we're all committed into the orange. Ooh, and then that clear is going to keep it right at midfield level as Sketch just going to bounce it off the hood of the car, send it up into the air, an amazing read. And then after that, we have YY getting Tony's going to get demoed, excuse me. And then we have Sketch stopping the clears, keeping us in the orange, and an empty net. But just the ball's just barely going to get touched and not be able to score any goals. 4 minutes and 10 seconds remaining.
I think the ground shot is easily defended out by Tony here. Sketch going to take control of the ball, trying to get over 1. Does get the 50, keeps it in the corner here, leaving for a Sentry. Sentry is beat out by Mischief, though. Second Tony could have a shot. The pass toward Mischief, or by essentially from YY. Could have been the goal opportunity they were looking for. Sketch is going to get one good beat here. Mischief's going to go up onto the wall, get one solid touch. Don't keep it soft. Looking for the second. Tony's going to get the clear out to the midfield here. Could be a great touch by Sketch. Sketch is 50 out by Tony, leaving over to the orange corner here. Tony's second, trying to control. Does get the 50, does get the 100 boost, gets one beat. Sketch to recenter it, essentially getting a touch over Tony. And one more by Sketch, looking for the second, but doesn't have the boost to follow up.
And it looks like right now we're still over in the orange. Essentially, Bossy looking to get it through the wall of the ET Wolves right now, which are 3 men, which are all 3 people committed to kind of guarding this goal right now, as Tony's going to go over into the blue, and Tony's going to rotate with them, of course, and Mischief is going to kind of form the back of that pyramid, as essentially Bossy's going to get a clear all the way over into the orange. Tony spikes it right back, and then Y's going to stop it from going into their goal, but sends it all the way over into the corner. These teams just kind of vying for the ball right now, as Mischief is going to jump higher than Sketch and be able to get the touch, send it over to Tony, who gets demoed, and then essentially Bossy's going to send it straight down main, right over Tony part 2, but Tony's going to respawn just in time to save.
wide out of a bang of a
Oop,
shot.
can't do it again, though.
Beautifully placed, top left bins. What a shot came out from YY. It's finally going to break the scoreless game that we've had so far and put the Stingrays up 1-0 here with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. And fast off the ball, essentially Boss is going to get another pass over to Sketch. Will there be a shot in place? There is.
Back top left? Top
Almost
left.
the same exact position.
Stingrays nowhere to hit it now. They're like top left corner. Got it, heard, understood, read. This YY's going to get the 50-50 and send it over Mischief. Tony's going to come in, kind of touch the ball, send, ooh, YY's just going to say move out of the way and hit them, and it looks like we go up to the sidewall, bounce it off the ceiling, send it right back to the ground. It looks like the ball's just kind of bouncing, passing between tire to tire to tire, as Sketch is going to get the final touch and send it into goal. Stingrays up 3, 2 minutes and 14 seconds remaining.
Stingrays finally find their footing here as the Wolves are slowly starting to get a decline here as we get to this 2-minute mark here. Sketch and YY rotating back. Sketch is going to default off of that ball, not going to go and go for it. They are beat here. Essentially, Boss, they get a big clear. Nobody quite in the back third here in a perfect position to receive it. Tony's going to be beat up by YY. The pass is in the midfield here. Y is going to get one more touch. They try to leave it over essentially, but they're not going to be able to get the quality touches they're looking for. Sketch get a 50. Y quick call up, looking for the pinch on the sidewall. Does get it. Do they have a second? But the demo is there at the 50.
Ooh, the second touch just barely isn't going to send it in, but Sketch is there with the follow-up, but with all 3 members of the Wolves just kind of rushing this ball. Essentially, Boss is going to bounce it off the wall, try to give themselves a better angle, and then Tony's going to take it to do the same thing, but with essentially Bossy and Sketch in net. It doesn't look like any goal is forthcoming just yet as Y rotates back. Mischief just barely misses the touch, and it just barely goes wide. Wolves got to put something on the board with 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining.
We've got to find it now and find it soon. Sketch to get a pass over the sidewall here is disrupted, slowed down by Tony. Tony to get one more, keeping the orange corner here. Y trying to get a pass here. Essentially, Boss is sort of chased out of the midfield by Mischief here, and now looking for the shot. Does get it, leaves it in the midfield here, and a great clear by Tony. Looking for a shot by Mischief, doesn't quite get it. Now gonna look for the pass here, cleared up by Sketch. Looking for the second follow-up here, does get the second touch with Tony here. Essentially, Boss trying to redistribute the ball in the midfield off the sidewall. Y is elevated, but it's emptied out by Tony.
It looks like Mischief currently in possession of the ball, taking it all over to the blue, gonna bounce it off the sidewall, gets very unpredictable, and it looks like that's the first goal for the Wolves, made by Tony.
Trying to get a slight touch here. Essentially, Boss trying to get the touch. A little bit of fake off the kickoff there. Nobody quite pursuing the ball just yet, not really contesting. Essentially, Boss does get beat, leaves him in an awkward position. Sketch is able to recover though and get the defensive play. Sending it over, air dribble style, over the sidewall. Y to get one more clear as the final 10 seconds wind down. The Wolves have got to find something as a missed touch. It's looking drastic as the Wolves are going to take game number 4 as they look to score one more time.
Mischief couldn't get high enough. YY gonna send it right in, and it looks like the Stingrays, they dropped around, right? The Wolves showed some signs of life, but the Stingrays are ultimately gonna take that and advance in the upper bracket.
Yeah, pushing forward, they definitely end up finding it. What was the loss of footing? Quicksand got slippery, maybe slipped on some black ice, who knows? But they end up finding their footing, and they advance on to the upper finals. So now it's really up to see from the side of the Hammerheads and the Lynx. Whoever wins there pushes forward into play the Stingrays. And kind of based off of how they would play, we'll make some predictions going forward. But we're going to make those predictions after these short little messages that we'll see. We'll see you after them for the next game.
Home is where you hang your hat, snuggle up, hide out. Home is when you're with the ones you love. It isn't just a place, it's a state of mind. At Idaho Central Credit Union, our home is Idaho. We grew up here, and we're proud to help more Idahoans with their home loan than any other financial institution. Idaho Central Credit Union. We believe home is where you make it.
Growing up in Riggins, we have certain rules we live by. Look both ways before crossing the street. Fishing stories get better the more you tell them. Small town life makes your life anything but small. Never work alone when you go hunting. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Idaho Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance.
Hello and welcome to this week's broadcast Sports Tower Rumble and Rocket League. We're broadcasting it from the Boise State Esports Arena. One spot in the winter finals has been claimed, and now it is time for the Hammerheads and the Lynx to face off to see who will grab the second spot. As always, we've been doing this 2 times, but I am your host, Colin Majunkin, and joining me to call all the action is Colby Alloway. And so now we've seen 3 of the teams, and not going off of, we had a little bit insight because the Stingrays were placed a little bit higher because of the way they practiced. That was the reason why they were already in the semifinals instead of the quarterfinals. But now we have the Hammerhead and the Lynx, who are not at that position. They are in the same position as the Wolves and the Mammoths were. They are respectively in a quarterfinal position as well. So we don't have any insight to what these teams going for and just going into it. But the Lynx they have to put a lot of tremendous effort into this game. They have to be the leader, and they have to be motivated to find it, and that's the position they're putting on Papasaur. They have to find somebody to do that, and based off what the coaches have said, Papasaur is the guy.
And then with the Hammerheads, just because we've talked a little bit about the Lynx coaching and what they're focusing on, the Hammerheads are really excited how to see how this team plays after last week's breakthrough and winning a title. Mm. So that's pretty big, but we've mixed up the teams a little bit. So the Hammerheads are looking to kind of repeat the past, whereas the Lynxes are kind of trying to adjust to new strategies and new players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so getting a look at the bracket, getting right into it. The Hammer and the Lynx, the Mammoths and the Wolves are already down in the losers round 1 and 2. And now whoever loses here from the Hammer and the Lynx goes down. And then from there, I believe, whoever, if the Hammerheads or the Lynx goes down, they play the Mammoths, and then from there you have a loser bracket that is made up, and then whoever wins out in the semifinals goes down to round 3 in the losers as well. Brackets are a funny little quirky thing. I've seen a beautiful little bracket that we have from Esports Tower. Well, and looking ahead right into the matchup, who will advance into the semifinals? Who will be able to persevere and get forward to some unknowns, at least to us on desk and most likely to you watching, wasting no time getting right into it. The Hammerheads and the Lynx round kickoff.
When immediately after that, State's going to win at 50-50, and it looks like kind of send things over. Ooh, Sicko's going to get a big clear and almost a goal into that bottom left-hand corner. And then immediately after that, the ball's going to be popped up into the air. We're still waiting for the first goal, but Sicko looks like they're going for it as they're going to kind of pass it to Area over on the side wall. Area's going to get a little bit of a clear. State comes a little bit too late. It's already over in the blue. Area just keeps having this ball snatched away from them. We
know Area and State to be a deadly combo, but Sicko's gonna prove that they are as well, putting the first point on the board for the side of the Hammerheads with just 30 seconds elapsed. And off the kickoff, Switch to get a 50 lead on midfield here for State to take control, but it's beat out by Moose. And a shot!
Gets demoed for it, but that shot is their lasting memory as they score the goal. Putting us tied. 4 minutes and 22 seconds remaining as Papasaur is going to win the next 50-50. Send it over to State in the corner, who drives on the ceiling to get that second touch. Is a third touch coming? No, Papasaur is going to go ahead and take that, and Moose is immediately going to get... Poor Moose. Moose doesn't get to play the game.
Oh, yeah. There's Seiko proving once again, putting the second point on the board for the Hammerheads here. With just 50 seconds have gone by so far in this game. Papasaur off the kickoff, looking for a double touch. Is State able to clear it? State is able to get the touch off the backboard and clear it. Solid defense. Now Switch elevating off, looking at defensive plays. Sicko keeping it low. So it's defensively outmatched. Now it's up to the Lynx to try and get it clear, but at 50, it's up to Papasaur off the backboard. And it's going to be able to do it once again.
And it looks like as the ball goes all the way over to the side, Switch currently in possession of the ball, and State's just going to take them off screen. Now it's up to Switch and Area. Area just gets enough of a touch to disrupt and send the ball flying in an unexpected direction. And then it looks like Moose currently in possession, going to get the first touch. Papasaur is going to get the next touch, and it bounces out right into Sicko's hands around that corner, but Switch is going to disrupt and send it into the opposite corner as now Area and Switch go into the air to kind of fight for possession of the ball, and then it just bounces, and it looks like Sicko is still in net to get a big clear past midfield, and Area almost makes a shot in the bottom right-hand corner.
Beautiful pass by State over to Sicko. He's not able to quite get it over to Area. Sicko to control off the sidewall here, looking to get the passes going. State to try and get a touch. It's beat out here. Sicko to send it over Area, keeping control on the sidewall here. Gets the 100 boost, looking for a second off the clear. Doesn't quite get it, but State was able to somehow get a touch on that ball there and Pop to get the demo. It's going to completely ruin the rotations and save the Lynx going down one more goal.
It looks like we bounce it off the back left corner there. Papasaur's going to send it in the air for Moose to do something with. Area all the way back in blue net. Switch is going to get a massive clear, so actually Area defensively waiting is going to be huge for the Hammerheads as they're just kind of forced on the defensive, but Area didn't press forward in time.
The batteries died in the controller. It's all good.
We need to jump Area stat. Looks like Switch is going to get that first touch up on the wall, and Sicko's going to get the touch to disrupt as well. State gets a shot on the backboard, gets that second touch, just barely going to go a little bit too far to the left. Papasaur currently in possession of the ball, going to get that first touch and a flip reset, and then bounce it off the back right-hand corner, and then now it is Switch in possession of the ball, getting the touch, and then Moose is going to sink it into the bottom left-hand corner.
It was definitely perfectly executed. And a 2-2 scoreline here, 2 minutes and 3 seconds left. Keeping it even so far. No team really pulling ahead. Both displaying solid amount of skill there. Now State has 3 defenders in the orange are sitting in net, and the pass that was down was not followed up by anybody. And Area and Sicko had a little bit of collision there. Sicko able to get one touch, keeping control on the sidewall there. Is he able to get the second to follow up? State to get the pop up there, giving time for Area to elevate one more time. Looking for the second touch here. The follow up off each other, getting a pinch. Switch to get one clear. Also looking for the second follow up. Is there any contest for the blue defender? There is, and it's from State. The shot was not on target.
State's going to go up the sidewall, get the first touch. Papasaur's going to get the second, and then Moose is going to get the third, sending things over into the corner, over onto Sicko, which actually gets a little bit of a clear. Moose, I'm so sorry, you've been demoed more goals than have been scored. State gets the gets the bounce off of the back wall. Moose kind of loses some momentum against Sicko here a little bit as the ball is slowly but surely approaching the orange goal.
Getting a really good dribble play to get it around State with the beautiful flick. Do they have time to put it on target? And they do. They had time to recover from the fake.
Moves it
and
right
it
on
plays
pass.
out beautifully for them.
So the Hammerheads are going to tie this up, 3-3, 54 seconds remaining, and it looks like Area's going to win the 50-50, but immediately after that, Moose is going to turn it around. State's going to get the next touch, sending things over into the orange. Ooh, it gets the second touch, but that goal just barely going to go too high. Sicko there with the assist. When in doubt, rely on your teammates.
Find the gap in the defensive wall. That was the Lynx here. The Hammerheads are up by 1, and it goes to 2 very quickly as 40 seconds now left in the game. The Hammerheads are up 5-3 here, and the Lynx have got to rebuttal soon, or they're going to lose the game 1.
Papasaur getting the first touch, the second touch gets the third. Will they be able to get the flip reset once they hit the ground? Looks like Switch is going to get the ball stolen from them by Sicko, and then immediately after that, Moose is going to send it right back down. This is all 3 members of the Hammerheads mounting an offensive right now, and Papasaur is going to switch, rotate it back, and then Moose is going to take it and get a massive clear, sending the Hammerheads swimming back to their own goal. Will they be able to get there in time to stop it? Steve just barely gets the touch.
Have been missing the touch here, and the Lynx are very low on boost as the Hammerheads have a lot of it, but it doesn't matter because the clock hits 0, and that is the Hammerheads taking game 1, pushing forward, coming off of the last titles week. What we're sort of saying, they're looking to keep the momentum. They're looking to keep it alive. They are definitely doing that. But want to be seen by college recruiters, talk directly to esports industry insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, and game producers. Then join the club. Esports Star players get insider access to the industry insights with their featured rumbles. Recruiters are taking notice too. It's a great way to score exposure if you're looking to start your path to pro or land a collegiate scholarship. The Moose haven't done a great job taking what he sees in practice and applying those ideas, though. Not able to take some shots were a little far off.
I feel like part of Moose's problem in kind of synthesizing everything they've learned in practice is the poor guy just spent a good quarter of the game demoed.
Yeah.
Like, Moose just felt like target number 1 for the Hammerheads.
Yeah, and of course the coach is sort of making the pop out for Hammerheads. They're excited to see how they turn out, and I think sort of here on Des as well. That was a stunning performance from both teams, keeping it close until the very end, with pulling away with the scoreline of 5-3. That's nothing to really scoff at there, and it was neck and neck for a lot of it, but inevitably sort of Sicko, State, and Area looking like a combo to be deadly and to sort of fear a little bit. It won't be until in a best of 3. Now they're at match point. They just need one more, and it won't be until a team advances that we can sort of make a prediction. But so far, that combo 3 is looking deadly, and Pop and Moose are going to have to find a way. The highlighted players for the Lynx find a way to counter it. Of course, heading right into it, will the Hammerheads be able to keep the momentum rolling and win the best of 3 and move on to the semifinals? Or will the Lynx be able to keep it alive? One more matchup off the kickoff. Area has one more touch, keeping control of it, looking for a flip reset, does get it, looking for the touch, does get off the crossbar, and there's no follow-up by State as they're just barely off the touch, and now it's Switch's turn.
It looks like Switch is going to get the touch over to Sicko, and then immediately after that we see a clear all the way over into the orange. State not able to get the touch. Moose currently in possession of the ball, going to send it up into the air right into Sicko's waiting tires, who's going to bounce it up into the skybox, kind of bounce it off the sidewall, pass it right over Switch. Ooh, and then Area is just barely going to get the touch a second before Switch can, so currently the ball is just kind of having trouble getting out of this corner right now. That's a demo on the State. It's someone other than Moose.
Somebody other than Moose. And a good clear by Moose nonetheless. The defensive play on the back wall. Oh, there's Pop gone as well, and Area.
Pop and Area.
This could be the chance. And a bump by State. A Moose trying to come in and make a play for it, but is not going to be able to do anything with it. And Pop's going to pinch. Leaving out the midfield here. It could be an opportunity. State or Switch to get one more touch. State trying to get a clear up the back wall there. Just going to pinch with the ball. Now Area to get one clear. Looking for the backward pass. Does get a musty flick there. Doesn't quite look the quality of get it. Not a lot of open net there. Triple commit from the side of the Hammerheads. It's going to leave an open net for Pop.
0-1, 3 minutes and 35 seconds remaining here. The Lynxes, they want this best of 3. They want to pull off the reverse sweep. We see it, the 50-50 just send it all the way up the sidewall, rolling. And then State currently in possession of the ball, going to get the first touch, and a massive clear over into the orange, gets the second touch, and it looks like Switch is going to take the ball away from them a little bit. Area comes in to kind of offer some support, but instead Moose is going to go for a clear. Sicko just bounces just high enough to be able to get that. State and Pop sort of getting in each other's way, but luckily Area is going to come in and make that shot when State can't.
Area able for the quick follow-up. Is going to quickly tie this game up. Area looking for the beat. Does in fact get it. Now the ball is going to leave down. Going to make a touch. Area trying to get the touch off the backboard. Looking for a Doomsday dish. Another triple commit here. But it's just in time. Erie was able to rotate back. Now it's full boost here. Gonna get it clear. Looking for the second touch. Now a whole lot of boost to do it with. Gets the double as there's no contest from the Lynx defenders. Put the Hammerheads in the lead.
Area says, I am my own hero. Thank you very much. And then the 50-50 is going to go the way of Sicko just barely. And then immediately after that, Moose has possession, sends it past State. Oh my gosh, if State can't get this clear, Moose just might be able to roll that in there. And instead it's Switch that's going to, set up Papasaur. And immediately after that goal, the Lynxes are going to tie it up.
Now we get the clear there. State just not able to get the ball control looking for. But nevertheless, the goal, it's scored. It's tied now. State on the backboard looking for a touch. Moose to send the ball a little bit too far up. Pop to get 50 by Sick. Now State over to Sick.
Sicko? But instead it's Switch that's going to get kind of the intercept there. And it looks like Switch is going to bounce it back and forth between the sidewall. State this time with the intercept, going to send the ball all the way over into the orange in the corner. Just kind of dribbling it up that sidewall, sends it main, but there isn't a follow-up shot on goal. It looks like the Hammerheads are just trying to set up right now.
Touch on the sidewall here. Switch, take a shot. May have found the opening area, able to rotate quick enough. Hard on the RB button. Pop to get one more touchdown. Sick, waiting for this 100 boost here. Or actually, they already have 100 there. I don't know what that position was. Now backwards off the sidewall here. State to get a big clear. Pop the third person back. State to get a big clear off the backboard. Erie elevates. Oh, it doesn't quite get the touch. But now it's Sick turn. Going to put it in the reverse a little bit. Wait for Switch's touch. State looking to control. Doesn't get demoed for it. But Switch is a little awkward here. Not a whole lot of boost, but one flick is all it takes. Erie going to be able to get the clear and look for a second off the sidewall.
Aria's going to send it over into the orange, kind of take it past the members of the Lynxes. They're looking to play a defensive game. They pass to Sicko just at the last second, and after that, the ball just kind of gets locked in this corner by Papasaur and Moose. Papasaur currently in possession of the ball, but State matching him. Drive for drive here, bounces it up and off of the back wall, but Moose isn't there to follow up. Now Area currently in possession of the ball, gonna pass it to Sicko. Switch with an excellent read on that is gonna send it up into the air. Sicko's gonna just bounce things off of the back wall. We see a lot of bouncing back and forth. Neither team can really gain some momentum right outside of the Lynx's goal.
Sick might have a shot and a missed touch, a whiff by an ET defender is gonna leave Sick with an open net. And it's going to put the Hammerheads up 3-2 with 51 seconds left. A little bit of double coming off the kickoff here, but Erie gives Erie the position looking for. Switch off the ceiling, does get one touch. Sick with good positioning. Now up off the sidewall here. Again, trying to get the flip reset. Does indeed get it. It's the flip, but it's cleared out by Pop.
It looks like kind of as we Pop currently in possession of the ball, going to bounce that over. We see Area going to spike it back down, and then immediately after that, Switch sends it up into the air. Sicko currently in possession of the ball, makes a shot, but Moose going to save that. The Lynx really need to make something in the last 21 seconds as we kind of spectate Switch, rotate back, hand the ball over to Moose, who gets it past Area, but can they get it past Sicko? No, not quite. Sicko getting a massive clear over into the orange, and Area now in possession of the ball. No, it's Papasaur, but just going to bounce it right back into Sicko. The Hammerhead's phenomenal defense right now.
Now we put a shot on net, cleared it by State. Is there a follow-up? Oh, and Sick's gonna get the perfect beat off the sidewall, and it's going to end out game 2. The ET Hammerheads are going to take it by a 1-goal lead and push forward onto the upper finals to meet the Stingrays up there. What a beautiful play by both teams, honestly. And man, I called it before. The Hammerheads are looking like a deadly 3-piece combo. We knew State and Area to be able to play really well off each other, but you add the third piece in there, the puzzle that feels like Sick, and they're just finding these plays and these solo plays, but also these team passing plays, and they play so fast and so well off of each other that it's going to take a lot of offensive pressure that I don't think the Lynx were able to find. They were able to find some goals and keep it close, but a lot of that was due to overcommits and bad rotations that the Hammerheads make. And I'm looking forward to seeing if the Stingrays are going to be able to put some pressure on the Hammerheads and maybe find some cracks.
Something we haven't seen yet this series is with the exception of the Hammerheads, is not having all 3 members of your team in the same zone. The Hammerheads, and there were a couple of times where it didn't work for them, like the member in the net that wasn't able to stop the goal. Yeah. But the Hammerheads always had somebody ready to rotate back to defense and to kind of go into cover. If your point 1 can't get the goal, there's somebody there to kind of follow that up without leaving your net completely empty. So, the Lynxes kind of found themselves in this position where they couldn't really get the Hammerheads to leave them an empty net.
I didn't see a whole lot of backboard defense, honestly, from the Lynx as well, which I could see as a vital area of a lack of attention to, because a lot of these backboard plays that they're able to find, if you had a backboard defense, if you had a defender dedicated to it, then a lot of those plays don't develop. And a lot of these over rotations, these triple commits, that quite honestly in the second game I could count like 2 or 3 of them could be disastrous for the Hammerheads, and that ends up being a tie game. We end up having a second chance to go for in overtime. So definitely, I think there are definitely some VOD reviews for the Lynxes to go back. They played the game. They know what they got to face, but getting right into it, wasting no time. The Hammerheads and the Stingrays, the final matchup that we have for it all for today. Who will move on to the grand finals?
Looks like we have this next 50-50. And an immediate demo on 2. Sketch just over in that corner. We see State currently in possession of the ball. Y just barely going to miss that touch and go sailing over. The ball gets cleared all the way to midfield. Area and Y looking for the touch. It's Y that gets it, and so Y that gets the goal. Just kind of felt like they barely, it feels like Y can grab the top shelf and Area couldn't.
Just that extra little reach we're looking for. And the Stingrays are going to be able to advance about it. But on the top of the Stingrays, they know how to find ways to break through a solid team. And the Hammerheads are hoping for some early goals to start the series off. And Y looking to do just that off the ceiling. Not look like it's what they're looking for. And it's going to be an easy clear by State. And now State for the pass over to Ira. Ira the shot, the backward. Is there followed by Sick? There was a shot attempt, but it's not there. As State's going to go flying. Another triple point example. Oh, they could find the opening now, but why is it going to rotate just in time?
It looks like Y is going to send things all the way over into the orange where there's an empty net here. Area and Sickle quickly rotate back to fill it. So unfortunately, the Stingrays are not rewarded with a goal as they continue to just kind of bounce it back and forth in this corner. It looks like Sketch is trying to get the next touch, but Sickle's also right there. Y coming in from backfield, dropping down from the ceiling as Area pops it back up above them. Sketch kind of going to contest there a little bit. There's a lot of pressure on the Stingrays' goal right now as all 3 members of the Hammerheads are looking to make an aggressive play. Sickle currently in possession of the ball stretch is just barely going to bounce it out from under them. Y's going to get a little bit of a clear, gets the second touch, and now we're back over into the orange, and the Stingrays can take a breath.
Not for long. Essentially, Bot's going to take a shot. Aria's going to be able to get the save, though. Y looking to disrupt it. Is going to get beat out there in Sketch. Isn't going to be able to get a touch as well. Looking for the pass by Essentially Boss. Is going to be able to get it. Area off the sidewall. Looking for the pass. Sick. Trying to get one more. Is going to be able to find it. Area off the sidewall. Essentially Boss going to get one. Disrupt and slow the play down a little bit of an area to keep control of the ball. But there's just a lot of chaos in the corner here right now. And Sick to get one more touch. Looking for the second on the sidewall. Get a slow pass, but it's cleared up by Y. Now Area, one more touch, gets demoed for it. This could be an opportunity, and Sketch gets demoed as well. But still, after 2 demos onto blue attackers, essentially Boss able to find the goal.
And it looks like this next 50-50 is going to be very important for the Hammerheads. 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. They got to get something on the goal. We see Sicko bounce it off the wall. Essentially, Bossy's there to at least get enough of a touch to disrupt and send things over into the corner. State climbing the wall, gets the first touch, pinches it between themselves and the wall, sends things all the way over to Sicko. Wise looking to kind of stop that, but essentially Bossy is standing right in front of them playing goalie.
Going to get over Sketch, does get a flip, the air dribble, almost got it, but Century Boss with that backup defense, now area off the ceiling here, trying to get a disrupt, Sketch trying to cause some chaos in the back of the net and create a free net, wasn't able to find it, State over to Area, now back to State, off the backboard, is there a follow-up, Area takes the shot, and Y is going to be able to save it, and a little bit of a triple commit, they could find an open net, the shot's taken fast enough, but Sketch essentially not able to convert it.
Now at this point, the Stingrays are kind of looking for an offensive move here. We see Sicko send it over into the air. Essentially, Bossy get the touch. And then there's a little bit of a massive clear. Sicko's going to stop it right at midfield, and then Sicko's going to kind of send it up over into the corner. Essentially, Bossy bouncing it on top of their car. State's going to go ahead and take it away. And then we see Sketch and Area vying for dominance in the corner. Sketch gets the first touch in the air. Essentially, Bossy gets the second, but no big clears for the Stingrays yet.
Ooh, a really good 50 going in the favor of the blue attacker for the Stingrays, though. Wide trying to get a follow-up here. Area to get a bang. Essentially, he's going to get a clear up to the corner here now. Area to get one more touch, keep it up in the air, give a free touch to Sick. Sick only good for one, though. Now, essentially, take control, gets one more, keeps it over the middle. Nobody quite there to receive the ball there. Easy pass to Area. Giving up a little bit of possession here. Now Sketch to bang it over. Once again, this ball sort of playing ping pong. Nobody quite keep control. Sketch trying to put a shot on net. It's saved out by Area. Under a minute now. Area to keep control, getting it past 2 defenders here, but why is the last third? He's going to be able to put a stop to that play.
So what we're seeing right now is Sicko currently in possession of the ball. Essentially, Bossie's going to jump up, get that touch, get the first touch, get a little bit of a 50 off the second touch, kind of sends things all the way over to main field into Wise waiting hands, and then essentially Bossie is there for the second touch, but it's State that's going to get it clear all the way over into the blue. Sketch is going to send it up to Area. Stingrays are on hard defense at the final 27 seconds.
Y elevates, trying to beat out State. State and Y are going to miss.
Ooh.
Area with the shot.
It's
And with
one of the goals.
22 seconds left, that is 1 out of 2 goals they need. Are they going to be able to find the second one here right at the kickoff? It does go in their favor a little bit as State's going to be able to get the touch. Looking for a solo play. The backward defense comes in full with Sketch able to get a second touch. Beat out 2 defenders. Area elevates, gets beat up by Y. The 2 orange defenders are back to defend. They wait down to 8 seconds. Sick, getting one more touch. Almost getting bumped there. Now to Area looking for it. Does get beat up by Sketch. And the demo. Big play, brain plays, and are going to beat out. And that's the Stingrays taking the first game W over the Hammerheads. And as you want to be seen by college expert recruiters, talk directly to esports industry insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, and game producers, then join the club. Esports Star players get insider access to industry insights with our featured rumbles. Recruiters are taking notice as well. It's a great way to score exposure if you're looking to start your path to pro or land a collegiate scholarship. And right off the bat, you know, from the coaches, the Hammerheads have a lot of confidence after beating the Lynx in their first game and are hoping for another trip to the grand finals. But after that first game, the Stingrays keeping it alive. You know, the Hammerheads find that last goal in the last 20 seconds. But other than that, you know, the Hammerheads are scoreless for 4 minutes and 40 seconds.
So the main thing that the Stingrays are playing too successfully is the coaches have advised them to kind of get early goals so that you can snowball. And we've touched on this a little bit before, as it's the main thing that we've been given that the Stingrays have been working on. And I think that's what's bringing them a lot of success. It feels like every single team, including the Hammerheads right now against the Stingrays, have just had to play the catch-up game. And that's a totally different mental space to be in when you're already up 2 goals versus when you need to score 2 goals to tie in the final 40 seconds.
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%. It's a different mentality. It's a different level of pressure that you put on yourself and your teammates as well, and as an overall. And I think if there's a team to handle that pressure, it is the Hammerheads to handle that, because I think they have such a solid 3-piece combo they've got going on. But nevertheless, are the Stingrays going to be able to put the Hammerheads at match point and keep this game one step closer to ending out, or the Hammerheads going to be able to take it and keep it alive? Because now not only do they have to play catch up in goals, they have to play catch up in series points as well. As Sick's going to elevate and look for the double.
Sketch.
Oh, heartbreaker, but 6 seconds, 1 goal, doesn't really matter. You just got to push past it.
This time it's the Hammerheads with the early lead, looking to kind of reverse fate here. As Area is going to try to break away with the 50-50 here. We see Area get the second touch. Essentially, Bossie kind of missed the touch, but is there to kind of contest. We see Area dribble and then flip it up into the air off the back of their car. Y currently in possession of the ball, going to pop it over. State's going to spike it down, and then essentially Bossie's going to get that steal and send it all the way over to Y, who's looking for someone to come from midfield to kind of get that goal. Sketch comes a little bit too late. All 3 members of the Hammerheads playing a hard defense.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, and it's still not enough.
Sketch making a really good touch. Way to stay in that backfield there and to elevate with that ball. I'm not sure if that's exactly what they were looking for. Nevertheless, their efforts get rewarded, being able to pinch the ball in with several Hammerhead defenders. Tie it up with 4 minutes 17 seconds left. Y is going to be able to get the beat on Area, but Area still have enough boost to keep this play alive. Gets traded out. Takes control of the ball. Might be a shot by State. A little bit too weak. It's going to be easily cleared out. Now Sketch keeping control here. Looking for the flick. Does get beat up by Area. A little bit of open net. Y is going to go for the contest. Get beat up by Sick. Now essentially looking to keep control. Does give up a little possession, but Sketch has control. Beating out State. There's only 1 defender back in this Area. but is able to take it as Y's going to be able to 50 it out.
We're watching from Y's perspective right now as they try to chase down the ball and rotate over. Now we're watching Sicko as the ball goes up into the air. We're watching Sketch get the first couple of touches, and immediately after that, State is going to take that touch, and then we go over into the blue, but Sketch is already ready there and waiting, flips the ball all the way over to essentially Bossy, who's looking to hit it off the backboard into Sketch, but the angle's just a little bit too off, and Sketch isn't able to get the goal, but Y, that's not going to stop Y from making another shot, and Sicko from making another save, as essentially Bossy's going to bounce it off the backboard, and with that massive clear, I think the Stingrays' offensive is coming in.
Looking to get one more touch, does get it, looking for the pass out, essentially Boss obstructed by Sicko, but nevertheless the ball's going the direction they wanted to go. Area trying to slow it down, keep it in the corner here, buying some time, essentially bullying Area in the corner over there. State looking for one more, gets the pass over, but it's beat out. Sketch was there for the 50, now essentially this could be a shot by an attacking Hammerhead. Area looking for it, does get 15 out though and keeps it in the blue corner.
We're seeing State and Area kind of vying for the ball as it gets popped over, and then right over Sketch. It looks like Sketch and Area in this corner are going to kind of vie for control of Sketch. Perfectly ruined dribble by Area there as Area's going to get the first touch, the second, and then immediately after that, Sicko's going to send the 50-50 up in the way of actually the Hammerheads right now. Hammerheads hard offensive running into the blue. We see Area take it away, but Y get a massive clear past midfield and all the way into the orange goal.
Oh.
What a clear, and then somehow Y was able to maybe teleport down the field to kind of hit that with the back of their car and send it in.
Yeah, ball cam didn't quite let us see what exactly happened there. Now Y might have a shot, an open net. It's a little bit too far wide. And here's going to be able to take control. Look for a little bit of air dribble. It's only good for 2, but Sicko's going to take control essentially. It's a really good position. He's going to be able to clear it. Look for a second. Y to get the 50 off of a Hammerhead attacker. Now essentially gets a pinch to the wall. Has to beat out Area now. Taking a little bit slow. Gets a good 50. That's the elevation over it. Getting another really good 50, a zero boost Warrior looking for the pass to Y, a team pitch, and State in a bad spot is taken advantage of, and that Stingray's going up 3-1 at the minute 40.
The slow dribble through the... So instead he wins the race. It looks like Sicko's going to send the ball up into the air, get the first touch, get the second touch, bounce it off of the backboard right into the waiting tires of Y, who's actually just going to score a goal off of that cross field. Putting the Stingrays 4 to the Hammerheads 1, a minute and 30 seconds remaining.
Perhaps some confusion on the side of the Hammerheads, not knowing exactly who to send to clear that ball, and a shot by Sicko too far over. As Y's going to be able to take control here, looking for one more touch. Let's get a 50 off the ground here. State's not going to be able to get the touch they're looking for. Now essentially Boston will take over. Sicko good for one touch, looking for the second. Doesn't get the second one. Y to take a shot on another open net. And the Hammerheads, just the defense, it's just collapsing. The Stingrays are able to put the pressure that I was talking about before the game, and they're finding the rewards for it.
Y is looking for blood in the water here and immediately sniping any mistakes that they see. And ooh, State unfortunately isn't going to let Y capitalize on that one. What we're seeing right now is Stingrays going hard on the offensive. All 3 members have been committed. The furthest, now Y is going to rotate back for the offensive. Amazing read there. And then we see Area get the shot over to Sicko, and then the second touch, just defenders aren't able to jump high enough in time though. 4 goals and 43 seconds. It's theoretically enough time, as the 50-50 is just going to dance along that middle line.
If they can convert this goal right now, I'll give them the chance and the opportunity that they so well deserve to come back in this game, but it's converted back over to the orange side here. It's essentially Boss has the pass over to Y. Y is not going to be able to take the shot. Too tight of an angle, pass to Area. Is it going to convert well? Now stay up the ceiling, look at this drop, essentially does get it, but the pinch doesn't quite go in their favor. Still going out to midfield. State might have a shot. It's blocked out by Sketch. Sketch is going to look for the second. Y, oh, I'm trying to get the forward passing play, doesn't quite get it as we wind down to these final couple seconds. 3 goals is just too much to come back for the Hammerheads, and the Stingrays are going to put it into match point here, carrying so much of their momentum over, and they've been able to put a stop to the Hammerheads' offensive ability. They've sort of turntabled it again as it sort of was early in the series as well, or sorry, not in the series, but early in our game of series with the, I believe, the Wolves and the Lynx as well. What was a lot of offensive pressure that the Hammerheads were able to create, the Stingrays have just completely turned it around. They've been able to find the open nets that you talked about from the rotational disadvantages that the Hammerheads have made, and it's paying out in full for them.
So at this point, what the Hammerheads really need is a mental reset. We're kind of giving them the break to do that because the Hammerheads came in with a lot of confidence. They're like, we're the Esports Tower Rumble champions of last week. We're looking to do that again. We're hoping to kind of send the Stingrays down and advance to the finals ourselves. And that's not what's happening for them right now. They're in the position of having to pull off a reverse sweep to stay in this and go to the grand finals. And honestly, none of that matters to playing the best Rocket League that you can. So I think the Hammerheads really need to take a step back. All right, just kind of treat it like it's 0-0 and we're round one.
Yeah, in that same sense that I talked about teams that panic, they just want to get the job done and get the third game and move on. The the Hammerheads need to be that team that settles down and realizes don't start panicking because you're put at match point. And now this is the time to really light a fire in yourself and underneath your team and start making the quality plays you can. The coaches have said the teamwork on this team has been fantastic, and they're holding each other accountable, and the team plays they have are there. They're just not able to convert it right now. So are they going to be able to do it in this final match?
So what we're seeing right now is a lot of different players. The ball is passing hands faster than we can catch it. We see Y send it up into the area immediately after State essentially Boss is going to touch it. It looks like it's just going from tire to tire, hand to hand, passing like a hot potato between these two teams as Y is going to nail the aerial touch, get the first touch, not the second touch. Area is going to steal that right out from under them. And then State immediately after that has a shot on goal, but can Y defend? Actually, it looks like another member of the Stingrays is just going to touch that and stop it before it can even make it in.
Oh, Area with the shot just goes over Sketch, and Sketch is going to be able to get a 50, be able to clear it out with State here. One more touch by Sicko. Vi's going to have to clear it over to the corner there. A bad touch by Sketch, saved by essentially Boss. Just a blur on the screen is able to do it, and is able to do it again to get a boom clear over the Area. Now Sicko to get one more, looking for State in the upfield. Now to get a shot. It's taken, it's not cleared properly. Essentially Boss is going to cut Y in terms of rotation, not get the clear for it. And they're gonna pay. The Hammerheads are gonna go up 1-0 with about over a minute lapse.
Looks like essentially Boss is gonna take it up the wall. What we're watching right now is Area try to get the second touch and just an immediate goal. Second goal for the Hammerheads. 3 minutes and 44 seconds remaining. It looks like the Hammerheads actually are taking a page of the Stingray playbook, which is get your lead early.
Yes, exactly. This is the Hammerhead team that the coach was talking about. And the open net is an opportunity. They can't keep doing this. They can't keep getting away with these open nets. And the Stingrays are making them pay every time for it. Off the kickoff, State might have a 50. Is going to be able to get it. Sentry Bot is going to be able to turn fast enough to get the 50. Why to take over quickly, but the ball's still in the danger zone. They've got to find a clear as they are able to do it. But State's going to get the boost steal and be able to turn on the ball. Looking for a pass. Midfield for a teammate. Got to get the flip over one, but why is defensively there to save it?
And with that, we're watching Sicko get the first touch. Will they get the second touch in the middle of the Stingrays? Sketch immediately after that is going to get a reasonable clear, get it out of the net at least, and Area's going to get the next touch and kind of try to pass it over to Sicko. Who's going to next be able to touch this ball? It looks like it's a Stingray push all the way until the Hammerhead's going to clear all the way back to midfield.
Trying to get some disruption, bump some players out of position here. Another shot opportunity. It's going to be taken as another missed touch. Another defensive mistouch made by the Stingrays is going to be taken advantage of by the Hammerheads. They gained back that safety cushion that they had so early in the game. 3-1 with about 2 minutes and 40 seconds left here as Sketch tries to get this disrupt. Essentially going to make a cut, and now Y taking a shot. Could be over State's head. There could be a follow-up, and it's beat out. She's going to take one more control here, try to get the flick over Area, but is not able to get it.
And then with that, now we're seeing essentially Bossy send it over to Area. Area just bulldozes them out of position and out of the way. State bouncing it off the sidewall. We're looking at an empty net right now as Sketch rotates in the bottom right-hand corner to grab that boost. And now, as soon as we pan back, it's a full net of the Stingrays as the Hammerheads really launch their offensive in earnest. And then Y just gets a bump to main where Area was waiting.
Hammerheads are finally able to put on the offensive pressure. They are talking about the solo plays and the passing plays that have been able to connect for so long so far in the past 2 series that they've been able to play in are finally starting to connect for them. It doesn't need to happen too late as another passing play. Wide's going to make a beautiful save, but Sick looking to put the shot right back on. A double off the sidewall. It's cleared out by Wide. Now essentially looking to get the passing there. State not able to get the touch. Sketch is going to get the beat, but now Sick getting a big clear. Wide's going to take a turnaround here, get one soft touch, keep it in the corner, gets the 100 boost here. Is able to get the 50. Keep it out in the midfield. Is able to elevate in time. State's going to get the clear now, essentially. Over to the corner. State one more, keeping in the blue corner here. The Stingrays need to find a clear before the Hammerheads able to convert on it. State getting a mismatch. Could be an open net, and Sketch is going to be able to take full opportunity on it. And the Stingrays aren't out of it.
Minute and 21 seconds remaining, though. They got to find that empty net more often. It looks like White's going to lose the 50-50 to Sicko, but essentially Bossy's going to get a clear and almost a goal, but State rotates back in time to stop that from happening. What we're seeing right now is Sketch hip check the ball into a mosh pit right in front of the Hammerheads goal here. White's going to hip check it up into the air, and then State's just going to kind of bounce it on his nose a little bit, and then we see it go over into the corner. Sketch going to bounce it over to the side. See what we can do, get the opposite corner, get the boost. Wise waiting midfield for somebody to pass it to them. Essentially, Bossy's just waiting for the setup, and there it is, but it just barely bounces off the crossbar. Too high.
Bossy messes up his teammate Sketch. Essentially, he's going to be able to make the clear. With 40 seconds left, the Stingrays have to find something, have to find it now, or else it's going to be too late. Sketch to get a big clear. Do they have the time to recover to get the shot? It is beat out by area, though, getting the beautiful save. Keep them from being at a one, keeping this 2-goal comfortable lead they got. Why would you get one more beat? Now essentially Boss looking for the flick, gets it over one. Isn't it open net? It is! It's a beautiful power flick. It's going to put it over. And with 21 seconds left, the Stingrays are not out of it. They're looking to tie the game and keep this into overtime.
Almost rule one there as State and Y go against each other. Y is going to get the first touch, the second touch. Will they be able to get the flipper set? Doesn't look like they're looking for it as they send it over into the corner, and State climbs that wall like a spider monkey to send it over, essentially Bossy. That's it. Ooh, I thought it was an empty Stingray net, but instead Sketch is going to come from the left field out of nowhere, and it looks like these teams are just balling.
Oh.
The Hammerheads just needed to bleed out the time in the midfield. Barely going to take that round, showing signs of life, but the Stingrays are also not out of it, right?
No.
That was not a roll. That is what the Hammerheads are looking for. We want to see more of that if you're a Hammerheads fan.
Yeah, definitely. If you're a Hammerheads fan, you definitely want to be seeing more of that. And they came alive again, right? That sort of made the point of it that their passing plays are starting to connect. Their solo plays are starting to connect. That's the thing they've been doing for so long, and they're finally finding the success rate that they had for so long. I'm starting to repeat myself, sounded like it, but just overall, the success that they've been waiting to find, it finally happens. But now the big question is, can they keep that success rolling? Can they keep going? Both these coaches on both these sides and for Esports Tower have sort of said these are really solid teams. These are really competitive, and they have really solid team compositions. The Hammerheads on the side have a really good team passing and sort of solo play ability that they have, but on the other hand, Stingrays are able to find a lot of these open nets, and they're able to, get these big, powerful clears that the Hammerheads do not have the rotational ability to get, and they finally started cutting those off in the beginning of the game. Can they keep doing it? Are they going to be able to push this to Game 5, or are they going to lose it out in Game 4 to the Stingrays, as the Stingrays are looking to move on and secure the W and end it right here and now off the kickoff?
Looks like Sicko is going to go ahead and win the kickoff for the side of the Hammerheads, and then immediately after that we're watching Area get the first touch, get the second touch, right over essentially Bossy, and then we see Y just kind of playing the back wall defense, but it's Sketch that is going to get the clear.
Essentially, Boss gets one good touch. It's over to Area, however, though. Aria's going to be able to keep control of the ball. Beat out Y, getting one more touch. Sketch is on the backboard here, looking for the defense. It's going to be able to get it, but State's going to go off the corner, looking for the recenter. The shot was there. Is Erie going to have time to turn around? Essentially, Boss now is controlled. Going to get demoed for it, but Sketch is still there. Going to take a shot. It's a bit too far off. Looking for the pass. Essentially, Boss is going to recenter. It does get it. They do have the boost to sort of stick with this ball, but now they're back to zero, and they get a collision with the team of Sketch.
In an area we're seeing currently in possession of the ball, takes the shot just a little bit too early and instead pinches it off the back wall and kind of sends it over. Y currently getting a massive clear all the way over into the orange, but Area somehow switches from offensive to defensive before we can even call it. Essentially, Bossy currently in possession of the ball. Looks like they're going to steal it out from under State. Sicko's really fighting them for it, though. All three members of the Hammerheads in the blue on the offensive.
get one more there. Arias looking to disrupt it, does indeed get it, gets the good read off the sidewall there. State quick to fall, looking for the double, does get it, but it's saved by Y. Beautiful rotational ability. State has to rotate back. Seiko to get one more, looking for the double touch, does get it off the backboard. State with the shot, once again too far off the corner, but Area getting 50 out again. Seiko looking for the shot, gets beat again for the 50, and now the pass over to Y as Y's going to get a beautiful redirect. Sketch goes flying across the screen, not able to get the quality touch we're looking for.
And it looks like State's going to get the first, second touches, set somebody up main, and it looks like there's nobody there except essentially Bossy, who's going to clear things back to main. The Stingrays, it almost feels like they can't mount an offensive with all this Hammerhead pressure right now. Currently, right as I say that, Y's going to clear it down main. This is the chance the Stingrays are hoping for. They're looking to kind of crack it open, but instead, essentially Bossy's going to have the ball stolen before they can ever touch it.
By Essentially Boss, able to open them, but they are able to recover. Now Sketch Elevate looking to get one more off the backboard. There could be a shot. Essentially Boss is able to cover it up and get the passing play. That is the Stingrays going up 1-0. So far historically, when the Stingrays went up with the first goal of the game, they caught the W, so this could be dangerous to the Hammerheads if they don't reconcile this lead fast and respond.
Looks like we see essentially Bossy just go ahead and miss that, and then we see State touch the ball, kind of pinch it between the sidewall. Sicko's playing a little bit of backboard. Y says, I'll play it better, and gets the massive clear, and then it looks like State's going to get demoed before they can even touch it. Their dreams of scoring dying as Sketch gets the bounce off of the backboard, and State respawns just in time to defend.
Oh, really good touch by essentially Bossy, looking to get the second touch or a bump on Sick. Sick is going to be able to pass over on the sidewall to State. State looking to find Sicko. Casino will get the power they're looking for. Now essentially Bossy off the sidewall, gets one, looking for the second, has multiple touches, keeping the drift button on, still sticking with it, gets the disrupt, but Sick to be able to cover the ball. A minute and 45 seconds left. The Sketch is going to be able to clear it down through Century.
And then right as we just kind of dance on that midfield line, State's going to get a clear off of the back wall. Sketch doesn't rotate down in time to defend. The Hammerheads are going to tie this up at a minute and 39 seconds remaining. This next 50-50 is going to be very telling. We see State and Y go over, and Y is just barely going to win it. Sketch comes in with the assist there, and then we see essentially Bossy kind of send things over into the corner area, bounce things off of the skybox there. Y and State currently vying for possession. No, now it's Y and Sketch, but Y gets demoed before they can even try to score that goal there. Essentially, Bossy says, I'm going to keep your dreams alive. And with Sketch's assistance, the Stingrays go up one more. Minute and 16 seconds remaining.
So a lot of game with the play. The pressure is building.
Ooh!
Area once again with the dead batteries. Isn't off the kickoff though, however, still sitting there. Essentially Boss looking to capitalize on the topic. Why to get, not to get a touch here, but State looking for a double here. Sketch elevates, doesn't get the touch, but essentially Boss is there for the backup, able to clear it. Sigler tries to elevate. Areas back in the game now. A little bit of miscommunication as Sketch and essentially Boss are mirroring each other over there. Get a 50, get a second one Sick, not quite in the good position. Oh, and essentially messes up Y. This is really dangerous here. A lot of chaos and panic. Now Sketch looking for the save, gets it.
Barely gonna pop. What we're watching right now is State kind of chase down that ball to stop its momentum. Ooh, State's gonna miss the ball in the flip reset there, and then immediately after that, just kind of nose check it all the way across the sidewall. And then we see Y get the first touch, but it's essentially Bossy that comes in with the goal.
The Hammerheads have got to find something quick.
This is a late game lead.
This is a very late game lead, but we also saw this from the Hammerheads in that first series. But it's up to them, and sort of the Hammerheads are looking to look a little more passive now as State just sort of sit in this goal line here. Got to be proactive more than reactive, especially so late in the game here. But with 10 seconds left, it doesn't look like the Hammerheads going to be able to rebuttal in time unless they score a goal right here, right now. But that doesn't look possible, and it looks like the Stingrays are going to be the team to advance to the grand finals as the ball hits the ground and the clock hits 0. The Stingrays are going to upset just a little bit and beat out the Hammerheads. What a game, honestly. They, once again, they drop one game, lose a little bit of the footing, but they're able to recover and take it 3-1.
Congratulations, Stingrays, obviously, but also Hammerheads, you're not out of this.
Nope.
That was the one that you won was a one-goal game, and then immediately after that, there was just a late game lead that you weren't prepared for, and we've seen bracket resets. Like, Hammerheads, your grand final dreams are not done yet. It's just going to take a lot more work to get there.
Definitely, and don't ever keep your eye off of that final dream there. But I do have to ask the question, out of all the teams, we saw a lot of them, saw 6. What are your players of the game? Who's your nominees?
So I think a couple of powerful forwards that we could highlight are State and Y.
Yeah.
And I think both of them were also powerful defenders, because when I say powerful forwards, I do mean just raw goal-scoring ability, but I also mean ability to rotate back. And then one of the Tonys can only get the – I think both of them deserve the nomination, but only one of them can get it. So, I mean, what's your pick, Tony 1 or Tony 2?
Personally, probably Tony 2, because we talked about
Butterfly
Tony 2
Tony.
having a lot more scoring potential. But honestly, I think my nomination for player of the game would have to be essentially Boss. I think both in a supportive role of setting up teammates and also in a goal-scoring role, they had an instrumental effect on the game that led them to sort of win it all and sort of see. But, we only get to nominate people. We only get to, put the guests out there in the universe. It's ultimately up to the Amazing People production that get to make the choice. And here it is. It's Y.
I mean, there it is, one of our powerful forwards. It really felt like a lot of the Stingrays' playstyle kind of revolved around Y and what they were trying to do here. We saw Y make some of the best saves in the game, and then all of the goals just kind of right through the back line when the defenders weren't expecting it. It felt like if there was an empty net, Y was on it.
Yeah, actually, you make an excellent point, because that's exactly what I was about to say. If there was an empty net, Y somehow had the shots were like homing missiles at that point, able to find that one was actually beautiful. That was probably the best shot of the game or out of the series we saw so far. And tonight's player of the game is brought to you by Esports Tower. Want to hone your skills and prove you have what it takes to play at the next level? Head over to esportstower.com and sign up to be a part of the action. YY is your esports player of the game. Congratulations to you and everyone who involved and played here. It's not over for anybody. You're still in it. It's next time we come around for next week that, if you're in the lower bracket, you got to find that fire. You've got to light that up. But need final thoughts as we close out today's Rumble?
Hammerheads aren't out of it yet.
No.
And Stingray, I expect that to be probably the grand final matchup, right? Because they were able to take maps off of the reigning champ right now, which is the Stingrays. And I think that dream that they have of wanting to get back-to-back Rumble champions, I think it's going to kind of carry them through as a torch to warm you in the night as they kind of go through the lower bracket.
As a final hope, and they've definitely got to keep that hope alive. But as we prepare to close out, we want to give congratulations to all the team. Have a fantastic night of RL. The Stingrays claimed the first grand final spot, while everyone else will still have to fight out the lower bracket next week. Make sure to join us next Wednesday at 6 p.m. EST as we crown a Rocket League Rumble champion. We close out the top 5 sponsor Esports Tower. Want to improve your game sense? Want to improve your team skills to take to the next level? Sign-ups are now available at Esports Tower League. Join our free starter club at Rocket League and improve your skills. Head over to esportstower.com. From all of us at Desk, we had a beautiful time catching it. Peace.
Come in. I'm No Smurf is going to pop it up into the air, bounce it off at the ceiling. Mischief is going to go up the wall to receive that pass there. Spooky's going to pass it over Tony. Mischief's going to send it just straight over Tony, and the next Spoiled is just kind of balling this ball back and forth in the midfield.
Spooky, wow. Ooh. Getting a touch of a lifetime off the wheel. Kind of double commit, but don't get a touch at all. Luckily, there's a bang. Now, essentially, Boston's going to pass. He's going to 50. Why's not going to be able to do too much with it? The demo might give the Stingrays the open they want.
Looks like Sketch is going to be the one to, nobody's able to save that ball. That was just all the members of the Stingrays caught off guard. Well,
it does get the second touch with Tony here. Essentially, Boston trying to redistribute the ball in the midfield off the sidewall. Why is elevated, but it's picked out by Tony.
It looks like Mitchell currently in possession of the ball, taking it all over to the blue, gonna bounce off the sidewall, gets very unpredictable, and it looks like that's the first goal for the Wolves. Gets that second touch, just barely gonna go a little bit too far to the left. Papasaur currently in possession of the ball, gonna get that first touch and a flip reset, and then bounce it off the back right-hand corner, and then now it is Switch in possession of the ball, getting the touch, and then Moose is gonna sink it into the bottom left-hand corner.
Definitely. You all know the rules of the overtime here. The first one to score is going to take the series, or not take the series, but the Stingrays take the goal, they take the series, and they move on where the Wolves are looking to survive one more game here in the hands as it's going to be a big bang here. Sensu Boss is going to be able to get a touch, be up the attacker, get one more mischief. The